Okay, so I'm currently dressed as a newspaper. Get it? Black, white, and red all over. Hi friends, my name is Joel and welcome back to my booktube channel. If you have yet to check out my bookish organisation video where I go through 4 methods in which I use to keep myself organised bookishly, I would highly recommend you go check that out because we're going through a challenge in September called the Good Readance Challenge, and if you want to find out more about that, you're going to have to go watch the video to find out more about it. And if you've yet to check out my Twitter nor my Bookstagram, I would highly recommend you go check those out as well because I post some extra bookish content that you're not gonna see here. For today's video, I just thought I would come in quite late into the month with my August wrap-up. There are 12 books that I read in the month of August, and so I thought I would just go through and chat about them to you. We can just be chill, we can grab a drink. I drank my tea before starting this video. Hold on. Okay, we're back. I got my matcha tea latte. I'm trying to use up all my matcha before I go off to uni. I just brought up some cheese because I love cheese. So I have some smoked applewood and also some Mexicana cheese, which is like a spicy cheese with jalapenos in, but I really like it and it just, oh, it's amazing. And this one just feels amazing and yeah. Cheese is great. Let us get into the books that I read in the month of August. So the first book on the list is the Adventure Zone graphic novel volume 2, Murder on the Rockport Limited. This is a continuation of the Adventure Zone graphic novel series covering the second arc of the Adventure Zone podcast. And this was a really great adaptation of it. I found that I was really falling in love with the story once again. Angus MacDonald is my child, he is my baby, and I just found that I loved him every single step of the way, and I just found the story was a much stronger one overall because in hindsight, again, they were able to change things and go over things so that it reflected better upon them, and I really liked it. I really loved it. So the Adventure Zone graphic novel volume 2 follows Merle, Taco, and Magnus, who after being employed by the Bureau of Balance are sent off on their very first assignment, and we get sent into this murder mystery that takes place on a train. It's like very Murder on the Orient Express. I also ended up giving this 5 stars because how could I not? The second book that I then read was The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, and you may be wondering, Joel, what is this edition? If you stay tuned, I shall be showing you where this edition comes from. It has purple sprayed edges. The Space Between Worlds. I have no words to describe, well, I have many words to describe how this book encapsulated my love, and I love it so much. This book immediately drew me in. It took me on a ride. I loved it. I really loved it. There was a lot of commentary as well about classism and racial-based classism. There are trigger warnings for this book for emotional abuse and physical abuse. There is also a mention of the intent of suicide, but it is not carried out in any way. The Space Between Worlds was just such a nice read and I loved it so much. Specifically the commentaries that Micaiah Johnson was making throughout this book as well. I did annotate this book. There were so many tabs. I found that it was very powerful and very moving in the way that it was told. I found that Kara was such a believable protagonist and I felt that I was really able to ground myself in his story and relate to it. Kara and Del are honestly my sapphic bitches. I love them both so much and I cannot wait to see if there's any more that Micaiah Johnson might write in this universe because I think she should. I think she should. Again, this is definitely a book that I want to critically analyse further on the aspects of classism that are in this book, pertaining to as well colorism, just a whole bunch of other things that were really well discussed in this story, and exploitation as well, and how white people exploit people of colour. This story just does it so well in such a nuanced way that it just... The Space Between Worlds follows Kara, who out of the 380 worlds that Earth can resonate with, Kara Kara has died on 372 of them, and so she is a valuable asset to this company of world explorers who basically have come up with the theory that if you are alive on a certain world, you cannot exist in that world because the universe will not allow it, because it will throw the universe out of balance. And Kara has been sent on a new mission to another world where she has recently died. However, the more she begins to investigate her death, the more the truth begins to unravel about the multiverse and also Kara herself. The next book that I got to reading was then The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This one was part of my new book swap series, which I am doing, where I read other people's favorite books and they read one of mine. So for the first episode of book swap, I read The Bone Season for Leora from Books with Leo, and she read The Black Veins by Asia Monet, and we both got to discussing about how we felt about each book. I'll leave that video linked down below because I highly recommend you go check that out. But The Bone Season was such a surprising read to me. Like, I've had it on my shelf for the longest time, and again, I bought it because I thought the cover was pretty. It's how I partake in consumerism and how I partake in like buying things because they're pretty. But I finally got around to reading it after like 3 years of having it on my shelf, and I was really surprised because I didn't know whether I would like it or not, purely because of some of the aspects of the book that I've heard about with like the slave and master aspect and stuff. However, reading it really changed my mind about some of that stuff because it is addressed and it is dismissed right away when it's brought up. I really liked it, and I did end up giving this 4 stars because whilst I did like the characters and the way that Paige was such a relatable protagonist and how the world was set up and beautifully crafted, I did find that there was a few info dumps in the novel which really took me out of the story, and Samantha Shannon herself has also admitted to this in many of her Q&As beforehand. And so it wasn't something that ruined the reading experience, it just took me out of it, like having to like put the book down now and again. I really enjoyed it, and I am really intrigued to see what happens with the rest of the series. This is what the nakedness looks like. It looks amazing. The Bone Season follows Paige Mahoney, who is a clairvoyant, someone who possesses psychic abilities, and so she works for Jackson as one of the 7 Dials in London. And so one day she is captured and taken to Scion 1, which is basically a place in Oxford where the Rephaim take over and are kind of lurking in the background whilst protecting everyone from these deadly creatures. And I'm really excited to pick the sequel up when I can, because I still need to find the UK hardback for this book. The next book that I read was Raybearer by John Ifweko. This book is amazing. I loved it so much. I did a whole review video on this, so I will leave that linked in the description down below. But just to briefly summarize, this book was just a really gorgeous beginner YA fantasy. If you've never read YA fantasy before and you're looking for a book to get into, I would highly recommend Raybearer because it just shines above the rest. World building, perfect. Characters, perfect. Plot and intrigue, perfect. Magic system, perfect. It just nails everything on the head. I really liked how John Ifweko was really able to seamlessly write, and the writing is just so lyrical and so amazing, and you really get to feel for each and every one of these characters. I almost cried more than I'd like to admit. It's just so amazing, and the covers are so gorgeous as well. Like, both UK and US covers are gorgeous, and that is a rare thing. That is a rare thing in publishing, for both the UK and the US covers to look so gorgeous. I'm hoping The Witch is Steeped in Gold UK cover is just as gorgeous. Oh. I definitely want to reread it at some point just so that I can annotate it, because I know Fairy Loot is doing a hardcover version of Raybearer, which I'm getting, and so I think once I get that, I'll probably annotate that book. I just think it'd be really good to go back and annotate it and also draw some of my favorite quotes out of it and just kind of immerse myself in the world once again. So Raybearer follows Tarisai, who has always longed for the warmth of a family. She's basically been raised in seclusion away from everyone else and has been raised by carers, and also her mother, also known as the Lady, who has been training her basically to go and train to become one of the Prince's Council of 11 to basically receive the Ray. And because of this, the Lady then wants Tarisai, once she has gained the prince's love and affection, to go and kill him, to go and stab him, to go and murder him, to go and end his entire existence. There's so much conflict already from the synopsis because Tarisai and the prince enter this close found family friendship, and it's just amazing. And also we get some representation in the novel for asexual characters, and my friends, it's just amazing. The next two books that I read, both by Talia Hibbert, are Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and also Take a Hint, Dani Brown. These are the first two books in the Brown Sisters trilogy. Oh my gosh, I read these for my romance reading vlog. Everyone was recommending that I read Chloe Brown and Dani Brown for the romance reading vlog, and thank you. Thank you so much, because both of these stories were just so amazing and wonderfully crafted. It was just such a breath of fresh air to see a Black British woman write a romance, and I can relate to it because it takes place in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom! It really surprised me to see how romance as a genre can be, because before the reading vlog I had a lot of preconceived notions about romance, and they were all wrong. Like, I was really prejudiced against romance books, and I'm really sorry about that. Now I'm just like, I am romance's bitch. Someone tells me a romance book to read, I will read it, because I love romance now, and romance books, I thrive off the romance. Both books just had such beautifully crafted characters. It was wonderfully built into this little microcosm of a society that I could really tell the world that Talia Hibbert was trying to craft. I ended up giving Get a Life, Chloe Brown 4 stars, because whilst everything else was perfect, we did have a third act conflict, which didn't really make much sense to me. We already had this similar type of conflict in Act 2. However, Dani Brown gets 5 stars. 5 glorious, big stars. Oh my gosh, this book made me cry. This book made me cry so much because just the representations, I mean, both books have excellent representations of male mental health, which is something we hardly see. Men are often told to man up, and men are often told to like hide their emotions and stuff. But Talia Hibbert said, fuck that. Talia Hibbert said, men have feelings, men need therapy, men need support. And I love it. And I love how Talia Hibbert is so raw and so upfront with a lot of the issues. Like, Chloe Brown has chronic illness, that is explained up front. Zaf has problems with social anxiety, and that brought to the forefront. Talia Hibbert is my goddess. I love her so much. Like, wow. She did this. She did that. She did this. Go pick these up. There's not much else to say about these books apart from the fact that they're just freaking brilliant, and that the sex was great, of course. Get a Life, Chloe Brown follows Chloe, who after a near-death experience decides to make a list of things that she wants to do in order to get a life, because she's found herself being always stuck in the same routine. And so through this list, she seeks to employ the help of Red, or Redford Morgan, in order to help her live her life to the fullest by helping her accomplish some of the tasks. And together, they accomplish many things. And then Dani Brown follows Dani, who basically, after being rescued from her building's fire alarm drill by Zaf, who is a building security guard, they basically formed into a social media trending relationship. And so Zaf, trying to get some hype for his charity, asks Dani if he would like to be in a fake relationship with her. And Dani, who is basically looking for the ultimate fuck buddy, just says yes, because she is an academician, doesn't really see the need in a romantic attachment. And both of them together in this fake relationship, things take a bit of a turn. I think we can both see where this is going. And I am highly excited to delve into Eve Brown when it eventually releases. I mean, the cover is just so beautiful and amazing and gorgeous and wow. And it is up on Edelweiss to request. And so you know your boy did request it. Fingers crossed that I get the book to read, because the moment I get Eve Brown, I will be downloading it and I will be reading it. The next 3 books that I read in the month of August were the 3 volumes of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. These are just have such cute covers. Like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. And so Heartstopper is just such a cute, fluffy, graphic novel. It follows Nick and Charlie, who are characters from Alice Oseman's Solitaire, and it shows how they got together in the first place, and also delves a bit deeper into their relationship. And I really liked it. It was such a nice, cute, fluffy, and light read, but also didn't shy away from talking about topics. It is also a webcomic, just in case you didn't have enough money to buy the physical copies, because I know that during this hard time at the moment, not many people have a lot of money, but Heartstopper is available on Tappers for free. I will have the link in the description down below so you can read it right now. I cannot wait to read more of it on Tappers later, because there's more on Tappers than there are printed. So yeah. The next book that I then read was Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins, and I didn't like this book. A 4-star cover does not make well for a 2-star read. Characters were underdeveloped, plot was flat, world was badly researched. I just didn't like it. I just felt that a lot of the things that happened weren't really great. The romance felt really forced, but also it's an enemies to lovers, but it just felt like to lovers. They had one heartfelt conversation, and suddenly they were no longer enemies and were slowly veering towards romance. And the romance didn't really have much build up at all, it just happened. I rated it, oh wait, I didn't rate it 2 stars, I rated it 1 star. I rated 1 star. Her Royal Highness follows Millie, who basically, after being deserted by her best friend, not-so-girlfriend Jude, she decides to go to a Scottish boarding school in order to get away from all the mess, but ends up being roommates with the Scottish princess Flora, and together both of them don't really like each other at first, but then their connection goes into something deeper. Or so I wished. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this book unless you're looking for a sapphic read that didn't require much depth. I am so sorry to Claire, who gifted me this book. Hoped that I would like it, and I unfortunately didn't. I am really sorry. The next book that I then read was Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This book basically delivered everything that Her Royal Highness couldn't. But I found that the characters were really believable in this as well, and just the plot was really cute and sweet, and the subplots really helped fill up the story and keep the story engaging as well whilst the romance took place. And I just found that this was also really cute and fluffy, and I just felt like it was something that I needed during this whole quarantine business, like cute and fluffy reads, because it was just really cute and I really liked it. Casey McQuiston's writing is really nice as well, in the way that she describes things and also writes her romance. It just seems really, really believable, and like I was able to connect with these characters really easily because of their experiences of being queer, and also the side characters were also very fleshed out and each had their own distinctive personality that I really fell in love with, and I just loved it so much. And so Red, White and Royal Blue follows the first son of the United States, Alex Claremont Diaz, and also the Prince of Wales, Henry, who basically after an altercation at an event have to enter a fake Instagrammable friendship in order to ease the international relations between the United States and the United Kingdom, because people don't want to see the prince and the first son not getting along. And so through this Instagrammable friendship, both of them basically start to get to know one another, and then things get a little sexy between the two of them, and so it's just really cute, and it's just something that I needed. And in this book as well, we get to see the presidential race for the next presidency, with Alex's mother also looking to run for president again on a reterm, and it's just really nice to kind of have a little bit of a delve into American politics and seeing how all of that works. Yeah, I really liked it, and I'm also looking forward to Casey McQuiston's next book, One Last Stop, which cover was revealed quite early on this month, last month I believe, and so I'm really excited to see what happens there. And then the last book that I read in the month of August was Witches Steeped in Gold by Scion and Smart. This one was given to me by Epic Reads in order to read in advance, so I highly thank Epic Reads for sending me a copy, because oh my gosh, this book is just so oh my god. You can literally see that it's getting darker now because it's a Jamaican-inspired fantasy. It just has so much political intrigue, so much plot, magic system perfect, characters developed. Scion and Smart and I share a character name. I don't know how I can't talk about this book without being spoilery or screaming into the inevitable void. I gave it 5 stars because, oh my god. I just found that the commentaries associated with classism, but also a lot of stuff to do with kind of the racial prejudice in this book was so beautifully done. Just the dynamic between everyone was so well done as well. We really got to see a dichotomy between what it is to be a hero and what it is to be a villain, and how the lines can blur between the two, and it's just amazing. And again, I really want to write an academic essay on this, or just an essay in general. Maybe it's something I might do for my blog. Witches Steeped in Gold is just such a fantastic fantasy, and if you haven't added it on Goodreads yet, I would highly recommend you go do so, because this is a fantasy you will not want to miss out on, because it's just amazing. I would say it's like Killing Eve and Raybearer like mixed together, but also with like Jamaican in it. And so Witches Steeped in Gold follows two characters. Jasmine, who basically is trying to convince her mother not to go through with the yielding, which is this yearly ritual which sacrifices people to protect the island and protect everyone. Whilst Araya has been kept in prison for the majority of her life, and now that she has been freed to go and train as one of the shields, she wants to seek vengeance on the queen, and Jasmine being the queen's daughter, both of them start to form an alliance in order to get both of their ends to meet. And so everything ensues from there. How am I supposed to cope with the fact that this series is a duology? How am I supposed to cope with the fact that I won't get this book until 2022? And before I wrap up the video, I do have a special unboxing from ILLUMICRATE, which I will now pop in here. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another ILLUMICRATE unboxing. All of you friends really liked the last one, and so I thought I would come back and do another one for you. This month we are unboxing the August ILLUMICRATE theme, which is Identity Crisis, all about keeping ourselves hidden. And so first we have this Percy Jackson and the Olympians inspired book-shaped tin made by Chatty Nora. I'm really excited to be reading Percy Jackson soon, and this book-shaped tin is perfect for keeping all of your prized possessions hidden inside. And plus, since it's book-shaped, it fits perfectly on your bookshelf as well. Like, wow, they will never find that. And next, we have the Huntress Nail Oil inspired by We Hunt the Flame, made by Madame Alchemy. It's soft, it's supple, it smells good, and will keep your nails. And then next, we have the I Am Not Pin Hoop. This is featuring the Illuminate. This is made by Felfiera Moon Designs and can be used as a frisbee. Then we have this Mistborn print by Alice Maria Power. This holographic print features all of the key characters from Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn. Maybe it'll finally inspire me to read it. Then we have the Fable and Black monthly enamel pin, which has World Walker. This is perfect for any space traveller who wants to travel through the alternative dimensions. Hidden in this ILLUMICRATE book sleeve, we slide it down to reveal The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, with its exclusive cover with beautiful lines. And also, putting the book down, we can now reveal that it has purple sprayed edges, perfectly matching the cover. And if you'd like to save money on an ILLUMICRATE subscription, you can use Joel5 for 5% off a 3-month or 6-month subscription. And you can try travelling the worlds and failing, like me, but then eventually succeeding. Thanks, friends. And yes, I am just really happy with all of the books that I read throughout this month. If I could give you 3 books out of all of the books that I've read to add to your Goodreads shelves, it would be... Okay, I lied, I went with 5. So, first book, Space Between Worlds. Amazing, gorgeous, get it. Second book, Raybearer. Found family, love it, wow, need more of this in YA. 2. 3 and 4, everything Talia Hibbert writes. It's amazing. The Brown Sisters, iconic, we love, we stan. And finally, once you're able to, Witches Steeped in Gold by Scion and Smart, because it's amazing. We need to support her book as much as possible. Like, come on everyone. let us do this. Let us do this for a Jamaican-inspired fantasy. And so yes, thank you so much for watching this wrap-up video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, consider clicking that subscribe button so that you're notified whenever I upload next. This video shout out fates goes out to the Bookbreak UK YouTube channel, where I recently did a YouTube video for them, actually dressed, I think, in this outfit, where I go through Kate Clancy's How to Grow Your Own poem, and I share a poem of my own making. And so I'll have that linked in the description down below for you to watch. And I would highly recommend checking out the Bookbreak channel as well, because Emma is just such an amazing human being and I love her so much. And if you wanted to catch me on any other social media platforms, I'll have all of them linked in the description down below. And I'll also have linked to my Ko-fi and my Amazon wishlist as well, just in case you wanted to support me through books or any amount of money. And so yeah, I guess until the next video, bye friends.